Today we are going to talk about linear relationships. A linear relationship is like a pattern. It has a constant rate of change. Constant rate of change just means unit rate. So let's look at this example. It says Jody pays $5 per ticket for a play and a one-time fee of $2. The table below shows the total cost for different number of tickets. The question asks, if the pattern is $5 per ticket, why does the table show that one ticket will cost $7? So the first thing that I do here is I always like to add another column to get us back to zero number of tickets. The next thing is I need to figure out how much our tickets are going up by each time. Luckily, our question told us $5. You can also just do the math of 12 minus 7 to figure out the first one. But 7 plus 5 gives us 12. 12 plus 5 gives us 17. 17 plus 5 gives us 22. 22 plus 5 gives us 27. But what happens when we need to figure out 7 back to this empty spot? So if we're adding by 5 each time we go up, if we have to go backwards, we would subtract by 5. So 7 minus 5 would give us 2, which is that $2 fee up here that we had talked about. So to answer the question of why one ticket costs $7 is because we have that one-time fee of $2. Notice, each time you do not have to add the $2. It is only the cost of the ticket. That is why I like to go back to when 0 tickets are sold, we still have that one-time fee of $2. So let's look at this example. The question says it costs $5 to get into the carnival. Then it costs $2 for each ride. Complete the table below to show the relationship between the number of carnival rides taken and the amount of money spent. So the first thing I like to do is add that extra column to get us back to 0 number of rides. So if we were to go to the carnival and just get in, it would cost us $5. We wouldn't ride any rides, so that's what this now represents on our table. For 0 rides, it would cost us $5. Now, in the question, it does say each ride is $2. So we are going to up each time we jump by 2. So 5 plus 2 is 7. 7 plus 2 is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. 11 plus 2 is 13. 13 plus 2 is 15. So this table now shows us our one-time fee, our base fee just to get into the carnival, how much we changed each time we rode a ride. We would add $2. So here we have our next example. A youth group rakes leaves to raise money. The group charges a flat fee plus a certain amount for each bag filled. The table below shows the amounts charged. So the first thing I do when I see a table is I like to break it down. I know that this top column is an X and the bottom column is our Y. For the X, we are going up by 2 each time. For the bottom, we're going up by 6. And remember, I like to add that extra column so we can figure out our base fee. So we know that we have to add 6. So from our blank here to get to 11, we know we have to add 6. So to go backwards, we do 11 minus 6 to get us 5. When we initially look at this, to answer the first question, how much does it cost to fill each bag? We would think 6 because that's the change, but that would be wrong. When we go up by 2 or more, we have to take the change of y, so what we changed by down here, and divide it by the change of x. So that'd be y over x. When we do that, we would get 6 over 2, which just comes out to be $3. So for each bag, it costs $3. Now we need to figure out what that base fee was. And that's the whole reason we went back to 0 here. That base fee would be what the y value is when x is 0. So that y value is 5. So that tells us that our base fee is $5 just to get that youth group to come out. Now we need to create an equation. We always are going to use the form y equals mx plus b, where the m equals the change of y over x, which is just what we figured out here, the change of y over x. And the b is going to represent that one-time fee. So now let's make our equation. Y equals, remember, m was what we did here, the change of y over the change of x, which we got 3. The x will stay the same, plus the b, remember, is our one-time fee. And our one-time fee that we figured out was when x is 0, y gives us 5. So that would be our equation. Y equals 3x plus 5. Now the last question says, how much will the group charge to fill 15 bags? So we're going to use that equation to help us out. I'm going to rewrite it. Y equals 3x plus 5. Now since it gives us 15 bags, that's what our x is. So x gives us 15. We're going to plug that in the equation. So y equals 3. We're plugging 15 in right there for x, plus 5. Now when we continue, we know that 3 times 15 is 45. So I'm going to rewrite it over here. Y equals 45 plus 5. And we know that 45 plus 5 gives us 50. So for 15 bags, it would cost us $50. Here's our last example. The question says, you earn a base fee plus an hourly rate for running errands. You earn $20 when it takes 1 hour. So let's fill in as we go. $20 for 1 hour. You earn $35 when it takes 2 hours. And you earn $50 when it takes 3 hours. Complete the table for 4 and 5 hours. So the first thing I like to do, create that extra column to get us back to 0, and then figure out how much we're jumping up by each time. So from 20 to 35, we're going to add 15. From 35 to 50 is plus 15. So we need to continue this all the way through, plus 15, plus 15. 50 plus 15 gives us 65. 65 plus 15 gives us 80. Now we still have to get back to 0. So we know that something plus 15 gives us 20. If we work backwards, we would know that 20 minus 15 would give us 5. Now let's look at the top. We're going up by 1 each time, which makes this problem a little easier for us. Remember, the top is always x and the bottom is y. So now it's going to ask us, what is the constant rate of change? Remember, the constant rate of change was the change of y over x. So in this instance, our change of y would be 15. The change of x would be 1. 15 over 1 would just be $15. Now, the next thing, what is the base fee for running errands? So the base fee is what happens when x is 0, y would be 5. So our base fee would be $5. Now we need to write our equation. So remember, y equals mx plus b form. And we need to fill in what we know. We know the y always stays the same, the equal stays the same, and the x stays the same. Now, the m is our constant rate of change, which we figured out right here. Our constant rate of change was the change of y over x. In this instance, it would be 15. And our b would be our one-time fee. And this is a positive 5. So we would put plus 5.